Yo, what's up, YouTube? It is time for the long-term DR200 review. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. It's pretty bumpy. Gear climb. Lovely. This is a good, solid trail bike. It's super light. It runs great. It's got good torque. It's got good power, I think, for back here. Here we go. It's hanging good. DR did good. That bike runs good, man. It's a great running bike. I love it. Alright everyone, so let's go ahead and dive into this 2015 DR200. I'm going to talk about the likes, the dislikes. Let's start off with the likes. The bike is super light. I'm going to compare it to my CRF 250L, and this bike is like air. It feels like air when I'm riding it. It's so light compared to the CRF 250L. I think that this bike has amazing power and torque. It's a DR200, which stands for 200cc if you're not very familiar with motorcycles. When you hear the term 200, you're going to think that it's going to be super slow, super underpowered. While it may be compared to a lot of other bikes out there, I think that it's got great power, great torque for what it is. Keep your expectations low. You won't be disappointed in any way with the power and torque. If you're new to riding, it is an extremely manageable bike on and off-road. You cannot really whiskey throttle this bike unless you intentionally try to do so. This bike is amazing off-road. It has great off-road capability. With the proper tires on it, this bike is a tractor in the woods. The stock fuel tank on this bike is absolutely amazing. The fuel mileage of this bike is insane, and it comes from the factory with over a 3-gallon gas tank. Not many bikes you can say do that. The lightweight of this bike allows you to not become fatigued while you're riding on the trails, as some of the heavier bikes that are near the class of this bike will cause. Another good thing about this bike is the fact that it is a Dualsport. It comes from the factory taggable, so you can take it on any adventure you would like, whether it be from the road to a trail or from a trail to the road. Although I do not recommend riding this bike on any type of highway. I'm in the 180 pound range, and I can easily cruise with this bike between 55 to 60 mile per hour. The dislikes I would say about this bike would be the fact that the stock seat is extremely uncomfortable. If you do a lot of standing up, that's not going to be too bothersome to you, but I don't think there's any bike on the market that comes from the factory with a comfortable seat. Another dislike that I have about this bike is the stock peg design. The stock pegs on this bike kind of far forward. There is an aftermarket peg set that you can buy though that actually lowers your pegs and pushes them back a little bit more to the center of the bike. I kind of dislike the fact that they lower the pegs a little, because if you're riding off-road like I do, you run higher risk of snagging your pegs when you go into a rut. That's the only reason why I haven't replaced the pegs with those pegs yet. Another negative thing about this bike is the front forks are super light. What I mean by super light is I've noticed the slightest of down you go, you tweak the front forks. Best way to fix that is just to walk around to the front of the bike, put the front tire between your legs, and jimmy on the front handlebars to straighten the front tire back out. Super easy fix, but it can get annoying at times. Last but not least, the only other dislike that I have with this DR200 is the fact that the stock suspension is extremely soft. Now again, if you're not expecting it to feel like a motocross bike, which it's not going to, you won't be disappointed with it. It's extremely comfortable on and off road, but it is extremely squishy. Easy fix for that is to buy yourself a DR650 rear shock, very cheap, find them on eBay all day long, and a CRF 150R front fork spring kit. Aftermarket, of course, fits right into the front forks on the DR200. Now there's not much to the bike to dislike about it, to be honest with you. It's a fantastic bike, and if you're currently looking into getting one yourself, I highly recommend it because it is a ton of fun to ride, and it is absolutely amazing as a trail bike. A couple things I'm planning to put on the bike this season to better its ability to handle the harder trails easier will be things such as a bigger carb, tweaked and tuned for my location of course, the said suspension upgrades I mentioned in this video to stiffen up the suspension some, a lithium battery to drop a few more pounds. The more weight saved, the better at the end of the day. Some Evo fat bars, unbreakable levers, hand guards, possibly the JNS engineering foot pegs, aftermarket exhaust that's still fairly quiet. I love how stealthy the DR200 is. Again, you can't go wrong if you buy a DR200. If you're getting a DR200 and expecting, say, a 125 two-stroke performance off-road, then you're looking in the wrong place. But if you're getting a DR200 for awesome dual sport riding with a mixture of pavement and trails, or mostly trails with a little pavement in between, this is a fantastic option. It would also be an amazing option for someone who wants a bike that's great on fuel with a massive stock tank for local town errands to run around on. Fill her up for a couple bucks, you ride forever on a single tank. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Please do subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. I'll catch everybody on the next one. Adventure Zach is out. Peace.